And now, scenes from where we left off in our last
Okay, now
video.
on this side, I am going to get started on. Actually, they're not knee pads. They're used a lot. Here's the. Look like I might have to move board here. So, before we actually put this in place, yeah, this board's got to wait. Before I actually put this in place, I'm going to set this up so that we can line up to, make sure we're lined up to wherever the drain's going to be. Okay, let's do that. So I'm going to start with our 2-inch 45s, and we're going to come through here with it. That's about high as we're going to get it. Then our sanitary tee right here. But we're going to want that sanitary tee up a little higher so that the trap is up high enough and not run into the deck. So what we're going to do is we're going to make up some pieces right here, and we'll glue this together, and that's going to give us enough room because we're going to take this and offset it anyway. So our measurements for that, let's go ahead and make that, let's make it a good 3 inches.
The piece that I'm about to measure right here, it's not going to be an accurate piece. It's just a random piece. It'll be accurate once the process is done. But right now, I just need a piece to put in there and hold it up in place, and then I'll be able to work on the other end of it. Now this is the 2-inch line, and this will be going to the laundry. And I haven't glued the other piece in there yet. Uh, I'm just kind of getting it lined out so I can get as straight as I can, get a straight shot right at the laundry drain. And once I feel comfortable enough to where I'm going to set this, then I'm going to go ahead and pull it back out and go ahead and glue it. And what I was doing just before that is just kind of lining it out and just getting an idea if that turn that I had going on would actually go directly to the laundry drain, and it does. It goes there really nice and straight, so this is going to work out. And that fitting that I just pushed in case you don't know, that is a 2-inch 45 street. They call it a street 45 because one end has a hub and the other end doesn't have a hub, so it allows it to go inside another hub, and that compensates for space when you need it. And it works good at a situation like this right now. All right, now I allowed the glue a little time to set and stay in place to where the pipe can actually hold itself up. And now I'm just going to strap it to the floor joist right now. And just prior to that, you probably really didn't see the torpedo level that I was using. So I was actually using the torpedo level. But I know the pipe probably dropped probably just a hair. But that's not a problem because once I strap it, I'm going to pull it up to where it has a slight pitch. What we call in the field is 1/8 of a pitch, just enough to get the water flowing. One thing about putting a pitch on a drain, you don't want to put too much of a pitch on a drain. You want to kind of just make it just right where it's almost level actually, but it has enough to keep the inside of that pipe wet and moist. So if there's any soil or anything that's built up in that middle, it would soak it and wash it away when the next drainage comes through. Yeah, I guess you kind of heard that. I forgot my hammer, so I had to crawl back out and crawl back in. Again, this is a good job for 2-3 people to actually do, but I'm taking my time with it. So, and the nails that I'm using to brace this up here is just some ordinary roofing nails. I did want to get these straps in galvanized, but the place I went to get them, they didn't have any galvanized, so I just went on with the plastic. Again, this here is just a temporary build. It's just for video purpose. This is not actually going to be used as a plumbing system. And once I again, I'm constantly keeping the level in my back pocket or right next to me because it's important that I constantly keep an eye out for the pitch of the pipe, and also keeping it straight up and down, vertical, horizontal. That and you can see right there, I'm just putting a little glue on the hanger, just to kind of adhesive the PVC hanger to the PVC pipe. And now this is going to line up for the tub. This top part here is going to catch the tub. And this part here will be heading, it will be heading right where you see that little square hole on the deck above there. That's where the tub's going to set. So there's always an opening there for the waste and overflow. So this is my target to shoot for that spot right there. It would have been a little easier if I had a 22 bin, but I don't, so we're just going to make the 45 work and aim it directly to where we need it. Again, here we go with the level. Making sure we got a pitch, a slight pitch on that 45 coming out, that it's going up about the eighth of a bubble. And that sun was really shining in my face when I looked through that hole. Now what I'm just doing here is I'm gluing the adapter to adapt it from 2" down to 1.5" because the waste and overflow is going to come down from the tub. It's going to be 1.5" drain. And I am not going to glue the 90 elbow on there just yet because I'm going to kind of use it to kind of line me out to get me straight to this hole as it could get me. Now that I've kind of sized it up and got it as straight as I can, which is really straight, it's really right on the money where I need it to go, I'm going to go ahead and take it apart and we're going to go ahead and glue it. And once this is in place and I allow the glue to dry for a minute, I'm going to go ahead and anchor this up there and hang it with the hangers just like the other one is, and then go ahead and install the P-trap itself. Let me go with that, man. Well, we're just about done with the running the drain pipes. There's a few loose ends to tie in here, and what I'm going to do right here, right now, is cut the uh, closet extension down and flush with the floor. And right now, I'm just going to set this toilet flange in position, but I'm not going to glue it because I'm going to use it again for another project. Basically similar to this project, just showing you a different way to plumb it up. So just trying to save as much as I can. And if you notice, now I'm not going to, this is a flush fit. This is what we call a flush fit 4x3 closet collar. I'm not pushing it completely down to the floor because eventually when they start doing the finishing the floor, you're going to have some tile work, uh, probably other stuff that's going to bring the floor up a little bit, so you're going to want that space. So actually, I wouldn't even actually put this flange down until the finish, really, and I would just plug it off. Okay, right here, the clean out is, this is going to be the clean out. The clean out meaning this is where you will run your sewer machine if there's any baggage back up in the house or out in the sewer. And this is a two-way clean out. So it'll allow you to run the cable from one way or the other depending on where the stoppage is. Usually you're going to find this around 4 to 5 feet from your foundation home, from the foundation of your home. But that's not always the case. But if done properly, you should have this in your yard 4 to 5 feet from the house. underneath, you can see how I have the drains, the laundry drain separate from the tub drain. I didn't want to dump the laundry drain on top of the toilet because that'd really be wet venting, and you don't want to put too many fixture units, drainage fixture units, on a wet vent. So I got these two separate, and the laundry has its own vent. And if you're curious about more information about the wet venting or anything in the video, just leave me down in the comment section. Leave me a message, and I will respond. Now, this is the plan A that I'm going with. And there's also going to be a plan B. And the difference between A and B is the plumbing system is what I'm talking about. Changing up the system. This one happens to have a wet vent, and that's only because of the lavatory sink and the kitchen sink. The next one that I will do, I will vent each one individually and separate, and you won't have any wet vent at all, because certain areas of the country, they don't really care for wet venting. But in this case here, you've got 4-inch pipe, very little drainage fixture unit that will not affect the venting of the drain pipe to the toilet. Now that we have most of the drain, waste, and vent ran, we're going to get back to that and finish some of that later. We got most of that done, the majority of that done. So now we're going to take the opportunity and start installing the hot and cold water lines. And again, this video is covering a plan A. There's 3 different plans you can use to build up the plumbing system in a bathroom, laundry, and kitchen. So, and in this plan, I'm going to use copper pipe. And what you just see me doing there, I was reaming the end of the pipe. And reaming is something that we do every time we cut a piece of copper pipe. We will ream it. This is another form of a reamer. And as you see the sharp edges, once you run this reamer around it, you see it shave it, those sharp edges away. So every time you cut a piece of copper pipe and you're going to put it together, you want to ream it first and get rid of those rough edges and the sharp edges. And I was just showing you the 2 different types. And this is the flux that I'm going to use. This is what's going to cause the solder, the lead-free solder, and the copper pipe to merge. We have our different size cutters and different type of cutters. I normally would use that one to cut probably anywhere from 1 inch on up to 2-inch pipe. And this one here I normally use for 3/4, 1 inch, 1/2 inch pipe. And what I'm cutting now is 3/4 inch pipe. And this is just showing you what's out there that you can use to cut copper pipe. And this is the lead-free solder that we're going to use to solder the copper pipe. Once again, after cutting, we use a reamer to ream the rough, sharp edges of the copper pipe. Here is another type of tubing cutter, which is very convenient. You can use it in tight spots, and you can pull it away from the other one and use it by itself. And now times have changed, and this is my preference for cutting pipe. A lot faster, a lot easier. Also easy on your wrist. And you just need one pipe cutter. I mean, most of them you need one pipe cutter, but this automatically adjusts without you even touching it. Again, here we're reaming it. You see the sharp edges we're reaming out of there? Okay, but anyway, this cutter here, you just can automatically go from 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 1 inch. Just push it on and it'll cut either of the three sizes, and quick and efficient. So now that is my cutter of choice. I think most plumbers now would agree. Alright, now I'm just going to start setting things out that I'm going to use. Those right there are nail plates. These are to cover the copper pipes. You see where I have the notching on the wood? Those are going to fit right in there. And the copper pipe is going to go right through there. And those nail plates are going to guard the copper pipe from any drywall screws and nails that they're going to use. And those are going to be the copper hangers to hang the copper pipe, or to anchor them to the studs. Now let's talk about the type of torch we're going to use and the setup and how that's going to go. On most job sites, plumbing job sites, large plumbing job sites, the this one here, this acetylene tank, is probably the most you're going to see the most on a large plumbing job site, because of course the quantity of acetylene that it carries, and you're going to be doing a lot of soldering, especially on large commercial jobs or any large construction. And I am so used to using this that basically this is all I use, basically. But I do use other types, and I'm going to show you the little hand one that I use. And right now I'm just putting it back together. Every time I use it, and when I'm done with it, I break it down so that we don't have any, gas accidentally escaping. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I had this down tight so that there's no small amount of acetylene leaking. And the setup that I have here is this is what we call a turbo torch. Back in the day, we had torches similar to this, but when they came out with turbo torches, this was the way to go. And any supply house or any acetylene place where you go buy a refill, you can get this little key that you see that I'm using that goes on the keychain. And this small wrench, not key, but this small wrench is what we use to turn the acetylene off and on. Because you want to avoid trying to use any type of pliers or anything because you don't want to strip that stem on there. And when you go to replace them to go get a new one, all you're going to do is swap out that tank for another tank.
And we have the different sizes of turbo tips. And we have the large one. If we're the large one right there, we actually, let's see, I think I have one larger than that one. Okay, maybe not. Well, anyway, this large one, normally we're going to use it on anything from maybe 1.5 inch on up to 4 inch copper pipe, because it's going to take a lot of heat and a lot of fire to get that lead-free solder to go around those copper connections. Now this one here I use a lot because it's nice and small and neat, and it makes a little short fire that's really powerful, and it gets the job done on anything from like 1/2 inch up to 1 inch copper pipe. But more than most likely I would use this only on 1/2 and 3/4 inch. 1 inch pipe I might come up a little higher on the tip. As you can see, it just pops in there. You pull the little ring back, pop it in, and it's ready to go. For a lot of guys out there that's just getting out into the trades, it's a good idea to have your own setup. You can go to a lot of companies and work for them, and almost every company will tell you the same thing, that we don't want you using your tools. And but me, honestly, I don't really pay too much attention to that. I still bring my own with me, and I keep quite a bit of tools with me. If I'm going to be on a copper crew that's just running copper pipes and water lines, I'm going to have this set up with me. If I'm going to do PVC running waste, vent, and drain, I'm going to have another different set of tools with me. I'm going to always be prepared for what they have, because you never know. And if you on a job site, you're going to see that most plumbers, especially the ones that are running copper pipe, are going to always have their striker right by their side and just looped into their belt buckle, their belt loop. And this one is pretty worn out, so I need to switch over to a decent flint. And flint means the part that starts the ignite and light the flame. All right, this is just giving you an idea how to change out the or flip the flint over to a decent flint with this particular striker. You can see I had two other flints on there previous, but I kind of wore those out. Had a lot of work going on. Okay, you can see the sparks coming from that. So this is pretty good. This is going to work good. There we go. I don't know if you remember or seen in my other video that I always keep a pair of channel lock pliers and a torpedo level in my back pocket. Most job sites you go to, you're going to see plumbers carry just that. I mean, not just that. They're going to carry a lot of tools, but they're going to really cling tight to those tools of choice. And right here, this is something I haven't used yet, but this is pretty neat. These are for getting into tight spots where you need to cut. I mean, I have, as you've seen in the beginning of this video, that I have quite a few different type of copper pipe cutters. This one here is spring loaded, and this is 3/4 inch. And all I do have to do is just spin around, and the spring puts pressure on it, and eventually, you know, it cuts right through the copper pipe.
And now, scenes from our next video. I'm Claude Taylor. Thanks for watching the How To Plumbing channel. If you are enjoying these videos and you would like to see more, hit that notification bell and you'll be one of the first to find out. And do me a favor, hit that like button. Again, thanks for watching.